Cleaner fired for being black. Hours later, she sits in the boss's chair. In a towering corporate office, a black woman cleaner quietly polished the marble floors, her head down as executives rushed past. To them, she was invisible, until one arrogant manager stopped, sneered, and loudly mocked her in front of others. "People like you don't belong here," he spat, before humiliatingly firing her on the spot. Laughter from a few co-workers echoed as she walked out with her mop bucket, her dignity crushed. But what no one knew was that by the end of the day, the same woman they threw away would be sitting in the boss's chair. And the man who mocked her would learn a lesson he would never forget. The Sterling Group was one of the city's most powerful corporations, glass walls, polished floors, and an atmosphere where wealth and ambition hung in the air. Employees hustled in sharp suits, climbing the ladder of success. But behind the scenes, a different group kept the empire shining. Janitors, cooks, and cleaners who were rarely acknowledged. Among them was Angela, a middle-aged black woman who had worked for years cleaning offices. She was soft-spoken, humble, and meticulous in her work. To most executives, she was just another face in a uniform. But to those who knew her, Angela was kind, wise, and quietly resilient. One morning, as she scrubbed a corner of the lobby, the regional manager, Mr. Collins, strode by with his entourage. Known for his arrogance, Collins prided himself on his wealth and position. Spotting Angela, he smirked. "Still cleaning floors at your age?" he said loudly enough for nearby employees to hear. "Pathetic," laughter trickled from the group around him. Angela stood silent, her eyes steady. Collins then added cruelly, "This company doesn't need people like you lowering its image." With a snap of his fingers, he declared, "You're fired. Collect your things." Shocked staff watched as Angela quietly gathered her bucket and walked away, holding back tears. To them, it looked like the end of her story, but in truth, it was only the beginning. Angela left the building with dignity, but inside her heart was heavy. She had endured countless slights before, but this public humiliation cut deeper. What Collins didn't know was that Angela's role in the company extended far beyond a mop and broom. For years, Angela had been saving, investing wisely, and studying quietly during her free time. She had built relationships with senior stakeholders, many of whom admired her integrity. More importantly, her late husband had left her a significant share in the company, a fact that Collins, blinded by arrogance, never bothered to learn. That very morning, while Collins strutted through the office, Angela had been on her way to meet with the board of directors. For months, negotiations had been underway for her to take a larger role in the company's leadership. By noon, the papers were signed, granting her controlling interest in the Sterling Group. Hours after being mocked and dismissed, Angela returned to the building, not in her janitor's uniform, but in a tailored suit. Staff turned their heads as she walked with quiet confidence through the lobby. Collins spotted her and scoffed. "What are you doing here? Didn't I fire you?" Moments later, the boardroom doors opened. The chairman stepped out, greeting Angela warmly. "Ms. Sterling, welcome. The company is officially yours." Gasps filled the room. Employees stared in disbelief. Collins's smug grin crumbled as the realization hit him. The cleaner he had humiliated was now his boss. Angela entered the boardroom, now seated at the head of the table. The contrast was staggering. Hours ago, she had been wiping floors, and now she commanded the room. Collins stumbled in, pale and sweating. "This must be some kind of mistake," he muttered. But it wasn't. Documents confirmed her new role as majority shareholder and CEO. Angela turned to face him. Her voice was steady but firm. "You told me people like me don't belong here. You were right. Arrogance and cruelty don't. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated." The room went silent. Collins's face drained of color as security escorted him out, the same walk Angela had taken earlier that day, but with one difference. His fall came with humiliation, hers with dignity. Applause filled the boardroom, For the first time, Angela's true worth was seen, not as just a cleaner, but as the leader she had always been destined to become. News of the dramatic reversal spread like wildfire. By the next morning, headlines read, "Janitor turned CEO. Woman fired in humiliation returns to lead company." Social media lit up, praising Angela's story as a powerful symbol of resilience and justice. Employees who once overlooked her now approached with respect, grateful for her kindness and vision. Under her leadership, the company shifted its culture. Every worker, from executives to janitors, was treated with dignity. No one was ever dismissed as just staff again. As for Collins, his downfall was swift. His arrogance cost him not only his job, but his reputation. He became a cautionary tale whispered through corporate halls. Never underestimate the people you look down on. Angela's success was never about revenge. It was about rewriting the narrative. For her, leadership meant building an environment where every role mattered, where respect was not a privilege but a standard. And for everyone who heard her story, one question lingered long after. If you strip away the uniforms and titles, how do you measure a person's true worth?